Okay, so let's talk about in this episode. I really want to talk about the process for designing the most amazing 2022 you can, and the process for manifesting an amazing, 7, 8, multi-six, whatever figure business you want. So I use a process, manifestation process, and my thinking has changed on that quite a bit. So I want to break this down for you. So first things first, there's programs that are running the ego that you have to be aware of and let go of before you go into your vision of the business that you want to create. What are some of the programs? The need for specialness, for your identity to look a certain way, a need for safety and security, to have a certain amount of money, to have a business that provides you that sense of security, the need for approval, recognition, respect, to look, looking accomplished, all that stuff, right? And then need for control, right? There's, productivity is a big piece of that, right? With productivity, we're controlling our world and our sense of safety and all these things. And oftentimes it gets in the way of our authenticity. So before you go into visioning, okay, this is what I want in 2022, you need to do some inner release. You need to let go of the programs that are holding you back and really take a look at it. By the way, this is not a thing that you can just write some notes on and be, mildly remotely aware of, and that be it, right? I'm going to be releasing some episodes of this show going forward that are going to address some of these. And in the January retreat, we're going to do quite a bit of release work to actually free you of that, right? This is why I renamed the podcast, by the way, Leaders Break Free, is because freedom doesn't come from the outside. It doesn't come from having a 7-figure business and hundreds of clients and whatnot. It does nothing for your inner freedom. It just will make things harder. What you already have, you'll still be stuck with. You'll never be happy until you free yourself of these programs, this need for safety and control and approval and specialness and all those things, right? So first you got to do the work. You got to do the work, and you got to do the work, right? So come to the January retreat if you're not signed up yet, because we're going to be doing some of that together. So you get a taste of, and you literally learn how to free yourself, how to, what to do with it. And a lot of people think, oh no, like if I release this, if I release my need for productivity or control, does that mean I'm not going to be productive? Does that mean I'm not going to be able to accomplish? And honestly, the opposite is the case. It literally gives you so much more energy and inspiration and motivation when you release. It's absolutely amazing. You don't go into apathy because now you don't care, because you don't have all these ego motivations. You have so much energy and you just want to run and share it with the world, and you want to work with as many clients as you can. And you're like, wow, I have this new sense of freedom. Let me bring this into my business, into my clients. It's like, wow, it just drives you, it just drives you to build a bigger business, to contribute, and to really fulfill on your mission. So don't worry about that. Emotional release is a powerful tool to actually get a lot of inspiration back and to actually move you in a frequency that helps you manifest a lot of things very, very easily, right? So once you're free of those programs, right, then you need to reflect, what do I actually want? What do I actually want, right? What would I actually enjoy in my business? But you're not going to know it until you actually do the emotional processing on the things that are running your desires right now, right? So what is actually going to contribute to the world? What is actually going to bring me joy, right? So that's your step 2. Then you go and set goals for next year, for 2022, and you say, okay, this is the kind of business I want to build, this is the kind of clients I want to serve, this is the kind of program I want to birth into the world, here's the transformation it's going to cause, and you get really excited. And then what, like with everything, your resistance comes in, right? We resist and we resist and we resist because the need for safety is still there, and everything that is threatening appears to the ego is threatening. The ego is going to find a way to shut it down, right? This is also self-sabotage, right? So then the next step is then you need to release the resistance, the aversions and the attractions to your goals, right? As well as to all the actions you plan on taking, right? So For example, you tell yourself, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get my message out. I'm going to do a retreat on this. I'm going to ask everybody and their dog to register and come to my amazing retreat. And then what's going to happen is that the fear and the need for approval is going to come back, and the self-sabotage is going to come back, and you're going to feel this this wall of resistance between you and that. And the good news is, just like in the last episode we talked last week, you have a power to release that. You're not stuck with that. You have the power to transmute your resistance into even more motivation. It works like that. When we let go of those things. Lexi just came back. Hola! That's really funny. She just got back from the beach. So then you let go of the resistance of the things that you want to do and the attachments to the goals themselves too, right? Because the attachment and the wanting, the must achieve this is what's also going to make it really, really difficult. And you're going to then get into fear of what happens if I fail and da-da-da-da. And then that's where people burn out, because the pressure, right? It gets too much. And then they go into burnout, which is the apathy. It's like, oh, I don't care anymore, right? Then the next thing you need to do is to set up a routine you can actually stick to. Your manifestation routine, it consists of letting go, gratitude and evidence collection of what's already happening, and intention setting, right? For every single day, and getting back to, okay, what is it that I'm creating? Okay. So having a really, really great routine. And, I use a voice recording that I listen to every single day on my phone when I'm on the beach. Here's the 6 things that I'm creating. And I listen to it. I get myself present, that I release some resistance that comes up each day and move on, right? Then you want to have really, really solid strategies, right? You can't just sit here and say, I manifest. But if you don't know the steps that are actually going to get you there, you're out of luck, right? So this is where you need solid strategies. I'm going to release a podcast, one of the next few episodes, on what are the strategies that we're actually using in 2022, right? That are much different from what we've taught in the past, right? Facebook ads no longer works, or if it works, it's very expensive. DMing is tricky, right? You have only so many messages you can send out, right? Organic is different. It's moving in a different direction than it has in the past. You need to find different ways of doing things that are much more, and this is a good thing, old school. Like, you have to be a real deal expert, right? You can't just try to throw together a funnel and hope it works for years. It won't, right? So the real deal expertise and putting value out there and actually making a difference with people is going to be more important than ever, right? As well as, strategic partnerships and affiliate programming and referral programs and things like that are going to be super crucial too, right? So those are the steps, okay? This is what I want you to focus on as you plan your 2022. So I'm going to recap this for you, and I invite you to make sure that you have our retreat on the calendar. It's in January 10th. It's 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to put the registration link below, and make sure you get that on a calendar now. It's going to, once you register, it's going to add a thing to your calendar there automatically, so you don't have to figure out how to do that. But we're also going to be doing this together in a retreat. So number 1, you got to free yourself of the programs that are actually running your desires right now, right? And the more you do that, the more capacity to manifest you actually have. So those are need for specialness, the identity, the attachment to your identity of actually being a 6, 7, whatever figure owner, that has to go, right? Then your need for safety, your constant bank account checking or avoiding it altogether. The need to have money, right? Would you rather have money or would you rather want money? You can choose, right? But you can't be attached to wanting money and having money at the same time. It doesn't work, right? So then your need for approval, right? Looking good. The resistance to rejection that we have, the resistance to judgment of other people. And there's a way to transmute that. There's a beautiful way. There's a beautiful method that I teach for transmuting. It doesn't have to be the last thing you want to do is try to not be some way, right? Because you're just going to make it worse for yourself, right? So there's a method that I teach has to do with embracing of that feeling in the moment. And when you go into the certain of the bubble, you pop it. But I'll teach you that in the retreat. I'm so excited about that. So you've released those things. Then as you become free of it, then there's a space. And then you're like, okay, what do I actually want? What is actually going to bring joy into my life? What's actually going to make me happy? Is having 200 clients going to make me happy? Maybe, maybe not, right? Because the thing that makes you happy, that bring joys to your heart, is also the thing that is aligned with divinity. That's where you're going to be most supported on your journey, right? From financial perspective too, right? So it's very, very important to get ourselves presence to what is actually going to bring me joy, right? And let go of the, I think I should want that because everybody else does, right? And get really, really authentic. And that takes tremendous courage to say, I do want to build a 9-figure business and it's there for me. And that's my goal and that's my dream. Or saying the opposite. I don't want to build no business at all. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Whatever it is, letting go of these programs can be very, very scary because we're taught we should want certain things. But it's going to be incredibly freeing. And it's actually the thing that is going to support you so abundantly. Okay. So don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid that you're going to release something and life's going to suck and you're just going to do nothing. Right. Don't worry, you're going to not lose your productivity. If you have been a super doer your whole life, you're going to be even more inspired, but it's going to feel more flowy. It's not going to be like push, 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 and then burn out. Okay. Then from there, you set your goals and your intentions and your routine for how to make this happen, because you have to put in your button on the line next. What is happening in this house? You actually have to put on your button on the line, actually do the things. But as you get into the specific actions, because you can't just manifest and not do the detail thing, the detailed implementation, but that's where resistance shows up. So then you need to go like, okay, how do I surrender my resistance to each action so I can actually do it from a space of like flow, and it can be easy. It hasn't to be pushy and you get the results that you want, right? So knowing the strategies, knowing the actions to take, releasing the resistance to each action, and there you go. So that gives you, in a nutshell, what's going to happen in a January 10th retreat. I'm so excited for this, but I wanted for you to have this now, as I know some of you are already planning, already like, okay, I'm done with 2021. I just want 2022 to be here, right? Because 2021 has been extremely difficult, especially October, I think was emotionally difficult for so many of us. And things continue coming up for us emotionally so that they can be released, right? And also like using these techniques that I teach to actually release things out of your body is super, super, super beneficial to your emotional well-being and for you to be very clear to show up. When your energy is clear, you know how it feels. You just feel inspired, right? So that's what you need to do. So anyway, I'll do a little bit more breakdowns as we go in the following podcast episodes, but the links below, make sure you register. For those of you who want to work with us, there's a link to, or want to consider it, there's a link for a consult. So make sure to book yourself on a consult with us, and I will see you guys on the next episode.